Have you ever felt like your life is just one big detour? You have a dream, a promise you feel God has given you, but every step you take seems to lead you further away from it. If that's you, I want to talk about a powerful story today. A story that will change how you see your own journey. It's the story of Joseph, found in the book of Genesis, chapters 37 through 50. Joseph was just a young man, but he had these incredible dreams. And these weren't just random fantasies. They were visions planted in his heart by God himself. Dreams of leadership, of influence, of his family one day bowing down to him. It was a big promise. But the path to that promise, it looked nothing like what he probably imagined. In fact, it was the complete opposite. Think about it. His own brothers, his own flesh and blood, became so consumed with jealousy that they betrayed him. They threw him into a pit and then sold him into slavery. Imagine the heartbreak, the confusion. He ends up in a foreign land, Egypt, as a slave in the house of a high-ranking official named. Now, even in that terrible situation, God's favor was on him. He was trustworthy, hardworking, and he rose to a position of authority in Potiphar's household. It might have seemed like a small glimmer of hope, a sign that things were turning around. But then, another disaster strikes. He's falsely accused by Potiphar's wife of something he didn't do, and without a fair trial, he's thrown into prison. From the outside, looking at Joseph's life, you'd think it was a complete and utter failure. Everything was falling apart. Every single step seemed to take him deeper into darkness, further and further away from that dream God had shown him as a boy. He went from a beloved son, to a slave, to a prisoner. It looked like a downward spiral with no end in sight. But here's the incredible truth we need to grasp. What Joseph could not see in the moment was that every painful turn, every heartbreaking setback, was actually divine positioning. It wasn't a series of random, unfortunate events. It was God working behind the scenes. The prison was not just punishment. It was preparation. It was in prison that Joseph learned to interpret dreams, a skill that would be crucial for his future. The betrayal by his brothers wasn't just abandonment. It was alignment. It was the very act that got him to Egypt, the place he needed to be for God's plan to unfold. And all those long, silent years of waiting. The delay was not denial. It was development. God was shaping Joseph's character, forging humility, patience, and unwavering faith in him through the fire of affliction. God was the master weaver, taking all the threads of hardship, injustice, and pain, and weaving them together into a beautiful tapestry, a greater purpose that Joseph couldn't yet see. And then, at the right time, not a moment too early, not a moment to let the Godordand haven't-timed moment, everything changed. Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the world, has a dream no one can interpret. Suddenly, the prisoner Joseph is remembered. He is brought from the darkness of the dungeon into the dazzling light of the palace. He interprets the dream, reveals God's plan for the coming famine, and in a single day is promoted to second in command over all of Egypt. From the prison to the palace in an instant, the dream God had given him so many years before came to pass, exactly as God had spoken. It didn't happen in Joseph's timing, or according to his plans, but in God's perfect timing. Years later, when a severe famine forces his brothers to come to Egypt for food, they stand before him, not recognizing the powerful ruler as the brother they sold into slavery. And when Joseph finally reveals himself, he says one of the most profound things in all of Scripture. He looks at his brothers, the ones who caused him so much pain, and says, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." My friends, this is the truth that can set you free today. Not one single step of Joseph's journey was wasted. Not one tear he cried in that pit was pointless. Not 1 year of delay in that prison was for nothing. Not one injustice he suffered was overlooked by God. God used it all, every single bit of it, and I want you to hear this with all your heart. He will do the same for you. Your story might feel like a mess right now. The betrayal might sting. The false accusations might hurt. The waiting might feel endless. You might look at your life and see only detours and dead ends. But when you trust God, you are not walking blindly. You are walking purposefully. Even when the path feels painful, confusing, or just plain wrong, God is arranging every single detail with divine intention. Nothing you are facing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is forgotten in his sight. He is working all things together for your good, just as he promised. So today, I want to encourage you to open your heart to this truth. Surrender your worries, your timelines. You'll need to understand it all. Lay down the what-ifs and the why, mess at his feet, and let God write your story. Let him take the broken pieces, the painful chapters, the long periods of waiting, and weave them into a masterpiece. He can do it. He wants to do it. Let him write your story with the same power, the same faithfulness, and the same ultimate victory that he wrote into the life of Joseph. Your prison might just be the training ground for your palace. Trust the process. Trust the author of your faith. Thank you so much for watching. If this message encouraged you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content to build your faith. God bless you.